this is Karen from the Shabby Attic, and this is, you guessed it, Fix My Furniture. And today we are in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, and I'm here with the lovely Sylvie, who emailed me just recently with her furniture dilemma, and we figured we'd come out and help her out with it and see what we could do to soup up her sideboard, which we have right here. So Sylvie, tell me what was the issue with this piece?
Well, we kind of bought it and it just doesn't fit with the overall house. It just feels very blah.
Okay. So it feels a little boring to you. You have some beautiful pieces in your home. She has this beautiful rustic table. So probably what's bothering her, just from my educated guess, would be that the lines are a little bit old-fashioned. The hardware seems a little heavy on it, especially that there's such lightness in her home. So we're going to do a few things to kind of pimp this piece out, soup it up a little bit, and make her a little bit, hopefully, really more happy with the way that it looks. So we're going to jump right in and get started, and we'll walk you through what we're going to be doing. Okay. So this is what I've decided to do with Sylvie's piece. We're going to take off this old-fashioned hardware, we're going to fill in the holes, re-drill a new hole, and I found this really great pewter hardware from a local hardware store that I think is going to go better with all the fixtures in her house, since this is going in her kitchen, and her kitchen has pewter knobs, pewter pulls, and she also has a pewter chandelier. So this is going to lighten the piece as well, so get rid of this heaviness. The other thing we're going to do is I found some really cool appliques, wood appliques, that really dress up a piece of furniture that's a little on the blah side, and they're going to go right in the center of the doors. Once we then touch up with our touch-up paint, we found a color that will actually match this. Then we're going to let it dry and glaze the piece to give it just a bit of warmth. So we're going to show you step by step how we do that. How's my hair?
I'm going to edit that now.
It's okay, doesn't matter. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the hardware. These have heads in the back. Get that out. Bye-bye, Colonial hardware.
Looks good already.
Looks better, yeah. Heavy. Alright, that one's done. It's a lot easier than you think to remove hardware. The tricky part is filling in the holes. What I have in my hand here is a little can of wood filler. This is miracle stuff, I love it. They actually have come out with wood filler that when you start out is actually purple, but as it dries, it turns white, and it tells you when it's white that it is dry. So this, if you're a beginner, this is great stuff for you, because then you kind of know what your drying time is, and then once it's dry, you can sand it down. So what I'm going to do is, I just have a little on my finger. The holes aren't very big. I'm going to push it in. Just keep kind of pushing it in to fill it in. It has the consistency of icing, to kind of give you an idea. I'll push it in. This. Now once this begins to dry, it actually will shrink, so it'll actually, you might have to apply a second coat, because it actually might just settle into the little holes here. And I'm checking the back just to make sure none of the wood filler actually went through to the other side. So here I'm going to do this one. And I keep pushing it in, and that's it. Okay. And these ones we're not moving, so they're staying put. So while this is drying, we're going to do a few other things.
Yep.
Am I live?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got our holes filled in, and the next step, while that's drying, is we have our little wood appliques, which you can pick up at any hardware store. Some of them might have holes pre-drilled in them to make it easy to apply to your piece. These ones, actually, I have a little bit of a drill bit here that I'm gonna pre-drill little holes. And then we're gonna shoot some glue onto the back. This is wood glue. I'm trying to just keep it light, not too much. You don't want it dripping down your piece. Take the other one, which I've already pre-drilled that one. Smear it out a little bit so there's not too much. Alright. And then we're going to actually center it on our door. Hold it there. If you're a little nervous about centering, I can kind of eyeball it, but if you're nervous about it, you can measure it out. And that's where it's going to go, right there. And then, whoop. Okay. I have my little nail tack here. It'd be good if I was prepared. So, I'm going to hold my tack nail. A lightweight nail, just something not too deep. Bang that into place, and then I'm going to add another nail right here. And then we're going to let that dry, and we'll go back in and paint this. All right, now our appliques are now on. Yay! And we got them centered. And now I'm going to use the touch-up paint that matched up to this piece to actually spray our little medallions. You can do it before these go on, or you can do it after. It just depends, you know, on timing. So this is Rust-Oleum 2X cover. It's one of my favorite products out on the market. This stuff covers great. So we're also going to spray a little into a pan, and I'm going to use a little paintbrush to actually soften the look of this hardware. This is going to make a dramatic difference because these really stand out right now. So we're going to kind of neutralize those, and you'll see. You'll see it. All right, so I have some paint on my brush, and I'm just going to go in and lightly fill it in. If you have any kind of allergies, please wear a mask when you're spraying this product. So, because it is can be a little heavy duty. Just make sure you have proper ventilation. Right. Now it may look a little sheer and see-through, but we're going to do a couple of coats, and then we're going to wind up distressing these just to make a little, bring some of that darkness through to have sort of the distressed rustic look on these hinges. But you can see already they're kind of fading into the background, which is what we want. So our painting is done. We've neutralized the hinges. Appliques are on, holes are filled in. While those things are drying, we're going to rough this piece up a little bit. One thing I noticed about this right away was that it was a little too clean looking for the rustic lines that she has on her kitchen table nearby. So in order to marry those two things together, we're going to kind of bring some of that wood tone out that's underneath. So I have a piece of sandpaper here. This is 80 grade. 80 or 60 is good for distressing. The lower the number, the heavier the sandpaper, the more it will take off. The higher the number, the finer the paper. So this, yeah, this is 80. So what we're going to do is take it in our hands. And the key to distressing is to rub it where naturally things would get rubbed over time. So wherever your hands would go to open drawers, edges, corners, you can see it start to pop now. Come down here. Isn't that pretty? I love it. Makes a really big difference. Warms that piece up. Go down to the doors. I tend to pull the door out and rub along the edges. It can get a little tiring. Let me show you a shortcut in just a second. So let's say you're working on your piece, distressing it, and your hands get really tired, I have a little bit of a cheat. Kind of a secret of mine. I don't really tell a lot of people about it, but I'm going to share it with you. Take a razor blade, and wherever you want to distress, you're going to hold the blade right up to it and just drag it. And look how nicely that comes off. Lovely. And then go. You can always go back in and just refine it a little bit with your 80 grade, 60 grade, whatever grade you want. Sandpaper. Our applique has dried. This area is all dry. We've distressed all on here, making it really yummy. So the next step is I have this wonderful product from Lowe's. It's a Valspar brand. This is a antiquing finishing wax. And what this is it's wax based. It's a lovely color. It's Bean, I think it is. And what we're going to do is put a little in a pan. It's a little bit dark going on. So you're going to apply it and wipe it off. I actually add a little bit of water to mine because it's actually too dark. It gets a little too muddy. And to keep it from getting too brown is to add a little bit of water. So I put a little in a pan and I'm squeegeeing up here. And I always start in the cracks and crevices first. So I'm gonna go in here and push it right in there into those corners. And I work in small sections at a time. You don't want to coat the whole thing and then try to take it off because it dries too quickly. So you just want to kind of work in a section. And I'm gonna push it in here. Okay. I'm gonna take our towel and then wipe it off. And the wonderful thing about this product is you really can't screw it up. Believe me, trust me. You're gonna think, oh, it's a sloppy mess, whatever. You can't screw it up because even after it dries, you can still manipulate it just a little bit. If you put on too much, you can still wet a rag and wipe it off. And you can see I'm leaving it, some of the dark wax in the recesses because that's naturally, over time, where dust and sediment would build up. There's still a little on the streaky side, so I'm going to continue to sort of wipe it off, but leave the dark wax in some of the recesses here. You can see how that's really warming this piece up. When you're working on your piece, what you want to do is every few minutes, especially with glazing, you want to step back. Once you've done a section, step back, and it's about this distance right here. A lovely camera lady, and this Audrey's going to show you the distance between the piece and I, just so you can see and make sure everything's even. If anything sticks out, then you can go back and fix it. I kind of do this constantly while I'm working the piece while it's wet, so I can manipulate it. So that's a good point for you because it really, really helps. Now I'm going to be doing the sides. I treat the sides a little differently than the front because the front has a lot of little gaps and things like that, a little more interesting things going on. The side is a little more plain, so what I do is when I'm glazing, I just put it at the end of through the top ridge here, down the sides, across the bottom, and up the other side, leaving the center without any glaze on it. And then what I do is I take my rag and I fan it out. I just think it gives it a little bit more of a natural look. Sometimes that glazing can be a little bit heavy. I've seen people make that mistake online where they're just going really heavy with the glaze, and that's fine if you like that look, but not everybody goes for the heavier rustic look. This is more subtle, so you can see. And just keep fanning it out. And it just warms it up. Okay, so our customer, we've had a little conference about hardware. I give her a couple different selections of hardware. This one is the one we're going with. This is pewter. This is from Lowe's. And these are about $3 a piece. They're well worth the investment, and I think they're going to look phenomenal on her piece. Now I'm ready to drill my new holes. I'm going to take my tape measure, measure it halfway across. Here we're about 14, and then I'll find my center point. Right now I'm just going to mark it with my finger actually. You can use a pen, but that's my mark right there. And the way to drill a new hole is you take this screw that's going to be on the back side of that, and you want to get the next drill bit size up. That way you have a little bit of wiggle room. It's not too hard to get in there, but that's kind of roughly what we do. There. And then I found my center here. I'm doing this as a lefty, so this is a little tough. Our hardware is on. And we decided maybe we should just go a little bit deeper and make this a little bit richer on top. Now that we made the base so nice and rich with our antiquing wax, let's do the top. A little bit in the pan. This time I'm going to go a little thicker. Brush it on pretty broadly on this. Bring in my pan again. And when it's thick like this, you've got a lot of time, which is good. Stays wet for a while. And look how nice that makes it. It's much richer. Much, much nicer. It seems just a little bit dull before, so that some of those older faded walnut colors kind of date a piece, make it feel a little bit 70s or 60s, so this is much more up to date. All right. Okay. Now that we've put this thicker wax on top, it's gonna, I would leave it about 24 hours to dry, maybe even a little longer before you put anything back on top of it. Once it's dry, it dries nice and hard and is a finishing wax, so it's sealed in. I would just use a damp cloth after that for cleaning. Don't use anything too heavy, not a lot of solvent cleaners, just a little damp rags will do. Okay, we are done pimping out this piece. We have waxed the top, we replaced hardware, we put appliques on, distressed it, and we glazed the whole thing. It's done, it's a wrap, so what do you think?
I'm in love with it. I didn't expect what we just did here.
Yeah, I mean, the goal was to warm things up so that this blended more with your kitchen. She describes her home as like feeling warm and woodsy, so she wanted this piece of furniture to kind of go with that. So I'm hoping that we achieved that.
We did.
I'm glad that you like it. And you can see it really didn't take too much effort. It's really a simple afternoon project for most people, even who are novices at this. So we will see you next time. We're going to raid someone else's home. Next week we're going to be going out to someone's house who has a little boy who is a baseball lover, and we're going to be working over a dresser that will be going in his room. So I will see you next time for segment number 2. Yeah. What we